Hello friends, how's it going? Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to see how to create entry and exit strategies for pyjuque. So how can we define a pyjuque bot that will enter on a given signal and that will exit on another given signal, right? So without much further ado, I'm going to start coding. So we'll start by creating a folder where we will do this whole project. pyjuque entry exit, and I will enter that folder, and then I will create a virtual environment to install all the necessary libraries for this particular small project. Um, so this creates a virtual environment called venv, and this activates it. Okay, and we know that it's activated because of this. Before we had a different virtual environment activated, also called venv. I call all my virtual environments venv, but you will probably have nothing in here for the first 4 lines, and then you will get this will show on the last line. Okay, now we want to install pyjuque. We've installed pyjuque, and now I will open a Sublime text. So I will create a file called main.py. Okay, we can close this. Okay, so let's have a look at the strategy that we're gonna create. So in the pyjuque GitHub repository, we have a few examples here. And the example that I want to look at is custom entry exit strategy. Now, we import a bunch of stuff here up the top. We create a function that plots the data. Then we have custom entry and custom exit strategy, and these are the functions that will decide when we enter or exit a trade. Okay, so we'll be using the whole moving average, and then we have the bot config where we specify all the details. We have way too many symbols here. I'm gonna remove a few of them. We'll have just less. Starting balance of 10,000 USDT in this case. The strategy definition, it's a custom type of strategy with the entry function and an exit function. We also have the entry settings and we have the exit settings, and we will only exit on signal. Okay, and then inside a loop we will call the execute bot function. First of all, we will call the define bot function given the bot config, and then the execute bot every 60 seconds, once every 60 seconds, and we will keep this running in a loop, out of which we will exit by typing Ctrl+C when we want to stop it from running. So in a nutshell, this is the strategy, and let's go ahead and code it. I want to write a function that whenever we get a signal, we will plot the data and how it looks like. So I'm gonna do that. And I know ahead of time what the indicators will be. Next we will define the custom entry and exit functions. And this guy needs to take the bot controller, and it needs to take the symbol of the coin, of the pair that we're gonna trade. If you want to know more about how this thing works and why it works like this, check one of my previous videos. I will link it somewhere here, and so that you understand how pyjuque works and why we need to pass these two things. So the bot controller exposes a few variables to us, one of which is the exchange, and this is very useful because we can use the exchange to get data from the exchange basically. So we will get the OHLCV data for this particular symbol on a time frame that we will define in the bot config, and we will get the latest 400 candles. And we want to compute the whole moving average. A whole moving average is a moving average that is a little bit more reactive than the exponential or the simple moving averages. So if we get a keyboard interrupt, which means that we've pressed a Control C, we raise it up to the main function so that we exit on that Control C. Otherwise, any other exception we get, we print a message that we could not compute, we couldn't get the data or compute the indicator. So we return false for the signal, and none for the latest price. So if we successfully get the data and compute the indicator, we will be here. So we want to compare the previous and the current prices and the whole moving average values. Okay, so basically the strategy looks at the price and it checks whether in the last candle the price crossed over the whole moving average, and if it did that, then that's a buy signal. We return true, and we also return the current price. Otherwise we return false. Okay, so this is the entry setting, the entry strategy, sorry. And the exit strategy will not be very different. So for the exit strategy, we'll get the same data, we'll compute the same indicator, we will need the same data points, but we want to know if the price crossed under the whole moving average. So whereas for entry the price would cross over, for the exit the price would cross under, and I'll show you exactly how that looks like in a second. So if the current price is less than the current whole moving average, whereas the previous price was higher than the previous whole moving average, then we will get an exit signal, and we return true, otherwise return false. Okay, now what we want to do is to define the bot configuration file dictionary. So we'll give it a name, custom entry exit bot. We'll pass the exchange information, and that contains the name, and we will use KuCoin for that, and also the params. And we will run it in simulation mode in this case, but if you want to run it live, one thing that you need to do is pass in the API key and the API secret, and this pyjuque at the moment works with KuCoin, Binance, and OKX. So I think for OKX you also need to pass a password or a passphrase, a password I think. So this is the first step that you need to do if you want to run it live. The second step is you want your test run to be set to false, right? So in our case we'll set it to true because I want to run it as a simulation, not live, but you want it to be set to false if you run it live. Time frame 1 minute. We'll look at the 1 minute, it just makes things simpler. And now I have a bunch of symbols here, and I'm gonna copy paste them. Okay. So we'll have a starting balance of $10,000. We can do that because we're in simulation mode. Now the strategy. Has to have the custom flag set to true. The entry function will be custom entry strategy, and exit function is going to be custom exit strategy. Okay, next. Entry settings will have the initial entry allocation set at 1%. So that means out of this $10,000, whenever we get a signal on any of these symbols, we will place an order for that symbol using 1% of this $10,000 allocation, which means $100. So every trade will be worth of $100. And this can be maximum 100, and if it's 100 they will use 100% of this, so $10,000. 1% of this is $100. Signal distance. Now whenever we get a signal, where do we want to place the order? Do we want to place it exactly on the current price, or do we want to place it a little bit below? Because we are doing entry signals as buys, as longs, so the signal distance will says that whenever we get a signal, we'll place the order at 0.2% below the price, the current price of the signal. So when we return through here with the current price, there's going to be a limit order placed at 0.2% below this. Okay, and yes, that's it. Sorry, I meant to show this one, not this one, but this one. Okay, and last but not least, exit settings. What's going on? Oh. Exit settings, and we want exit on signal to be true. Okay, so we won't exit any other way, only when we get a signal. Alright, so that's it for the bot config. Now we want to create the bot loop, and what I can simply do is jump right here and just copy this thing. Paste. Okay, so we define a bot controller using the bot config that we have just created, and in an infinite loop, every 60 seconds we will execute the bot. And executing the bot means it will loop through all the symbols, it will check if there are any signals on the symbols based on the entry strategy that we've provided. If there are any signals, it's going to place orders on the ones that have those signals. It's going to place orders using 1% of 10,000 bucks. And then it's going to go through all the orders that it have placed and check the exit signal on those pairs, and in case the exit signal is fulfilled, it's gonna exit that order. So it's gonna look through all the orders that were placed here. The ones that were filled, we're gonna check the exit signal on. The ones that were not filled, we're gonna wait for them to be filled, and that's it. Okay, so that's what's gonna happen here. And now I'm pretty sure I messed something up, so let's not get overly excited, but let's see if it works. Okay, so what's gonna happen is this pyjuque is gonna create a database here for us where it's gonna store all the orders, and whenever we will get an entry signal or an exit signal, a new tab is gonna open up with a plot. So because we have quite a few symbols here, and the strategy is not that difficult to happen, we might get a number of tabs opening up quickly. So let's see if that's the case. Okay, of course. So we forgot to install pandas TA. Okay, oops, sorry, not again. Okay, so now it's just running through all the different symbols, and it found a signal on TRAS USDT. So as we can see right here, the green line is the whole moving average, and the previous candlestick, the closing price was below the whole moving average, and in this candlestick it is above the whole moving average. So that means we have a buy signal, we have an entry signal. As you can see, entry signal was placed very well, and got entry signal. Buy order was placed successfully, and we have an open buy order on this thing, so it's still open, it has not been filled yet, and it's still updating. And now this thing is gonna wait for 60 seconds, and then it's gonna go through the loop again, checking everything but this one, because we already have an open order on this one. And it found another one on EOS at this time, so let's check it again. Oh, and another one. Okay, so there you go. It's finding a lot of signals. This is on cake. The previous closing was below the whole moving average, and the current closing is above the whole moving average. So on the green candlestick the close is on top, on the red candlestick the close is on the bottom. So yeah, we can see that on the red candlestick close is on the bottom, and on the green close is on the top. Okay, so that's that. And obviously it's not a great strategy. And yeah, you can see now we have open buy orders on all three of these. And what will happen is, if the price of this tree, so say that on EOS we bought right here, sorry, we got the signal right here. So remember that our signal distance is 0.2, so that means this EOS order will be filled if, oh, we got another one, will be filled if the price will go lower by 0.2%. so our signal was here, and when we got the signal here we placed the order here. So when the price will go deep back to here, that's where our order will be filled, right? So that's it. And if you want to run it live, again, as I said, you want to input here your API credentials. You want to set this to false, and maybe you will want to remove the database and start again. So let me just show you real quick the database. VSC, so I have to open a VS Code with the same project, and we can see the database is right here, right? So VS Code is awesome because we can check out this database. And okay, we got another signal and another one, so we will probably keep getting them. Okay, I might just stop this. Okay, hey, something cool happened actually. Wait, can you see filled by order on cake USDT triax? That means on cake that that order was filled, and then we placed a sell order on cake, right? Wait a second, how did we place a sell order? Exit signal, entry signal. Actually, no, I don't think we placed a sell order. I think that the log just says that. Anyway, I shut it down. Open the database and SQLite Explorer. So let's see all our orders. So these are all our orders so far. So okay, so it seems like we have actually placed 24.9, 25.4. Seems like we have actually placed a sell order at something like 5% above it. I'm not sure why that happened, because based on our settings there's just an exit on signal. So I think there is a value by default there at the take profit. so it's by default maybe 5% by default, so that's why it actually did place the order. Regardless, so I will have to change that. Probably the best way for you to approach that is just say here take profit, and say this as set this as something really high, like 15% or 50%, or whatever you like to set it at. Okay, so anyhow, you saw how this thing works, and we can see here all the orders that were placed and a lot of information that we that is useful to know: the quantity, the executed quantity, the status side, and so on and so forth. So this was the video for today. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'm currently working on this pyjuque library part-time. Contributors welcome. I am trying to make it very useful for people to get started with algo trading by using pyjuque. So that's my goal with it. It's completely free to use, and if you have any feedback, if you test it out and you find any bugs or anything like that, I would love to hear from you. You can make an issue in GitHub, and yeah, just let me know what you guys are using pyjuque with, if it's not leaking your alpha, obviously. And yeah, until next time, see you later.